Right, here are some instructions on how to apply bulk price changes to a group of your existing products. If you go into the products menu, select products, and then go into the pricing view, that will give you a series that has got both the cost prices and the current selling prices on particular products that you've got. Set various filters, so you may want to obviously only look at live products or select a particular group of items. So in this case, I'm going to look at a series of doors. I look at those doors. If I'm happy with that group, then I can do export to Excel. That puts it out into a spreadsheet, which I can then open up in order to do my repricing. So once I've got it open, enable editing, and I want to add two columns into the right hand end, so the first two columns. I want the first one to be the code, so copy that column and paste it in there. And the second one I want to be the price, but we'll get to that in a moment. I do, however, want it to be called base price, so I'm going to copy across that title. So what I've got in here is last base price, current base price, next base price, average, last, and standard cost price against the products that we've got in there. So you can use all of those figures in order to review what you want the pricing to be and therefore be able to make changes. Incidentally, if you just want to make a simple sort of percentage price adjustment to a range of products, that's easier done directly within the system. You don't need to use the Excel side of things in order to achieve that. I'll go through that on a separate video. But on this one here, let's assume we want to make some changes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the existing base price and I'm going to make some changes to it. So in order to do that, first thing we need to do is to make sure that we are actually calculating any figures to 2 decimal places so that the system can see it as prices. So I do equals round, and you can either use round up, round down, whatever you want to have. Choose the figures that you're using for your particular calculation. So I'm going to take the current base price and I'm going to add 10% onto it, so times 1.1, comma 2 to say that we want to round it to the nearest 2 decimal places. Close brackets, enter. That now gives me a revised price, so £17.60 is being uplifted to £19.36. Double click on that corner square to copy that right the way down through the whole series of products. Obviously in there we can now go and make individual changes if we want to, so I can make that £53, I can make that £79.99, and it's worth having a quick check down just to make sure that everything has actually got a price in it. If you have, as we have here, any special items, you can still import them, but it's worth actually taking them out because special items should be unpriced. They should be priced on a case-by-case basis as you go. Once you're actually happy with all of that, then you can just save it away. My one's saved into downloads by default, so save that in there. Back in the system then, we go to the products menu again and go down to bulk pricing. And in there, we then have a button top right, which is import prices from Excel. Click on that. It says what we're going to give it as a name initially and gives a little bit of instruction that the first column needs to be code and the second column needs to be base price. So I'm going to browse, find the spreadsheet I've just been working on, which is that snappily titled one there, and sorry, it's actually that one there, and click open on that. That then uploads it to the system. When you see the fake path direction there, then that means it's uploaded and you can click import. That then goes away and does a calculation and says how many products have actually, or prices have been imported, and any errors it may well have found. Click on OK. import is finished, and so we now have a draft bulk price adjustment within the system. We can give this a slightly sort of more specific name. So if I've done doors in this particular case, we may well do there. The start date defaults to tomorrow, but you can change it to any future date that you want to. And it's worth giving everything an end date as well. So I'm going to let these particular prices run to the end of the month. Two other fields to look at in here. The first one is it a special offer? Okay, so if it is a special offer, that will actually bypass any of the automatic pricing tables and literally offer that price to everyone for everything. And then use price tables is something where you can bypass them individually if you want to. Okay, you'll notice our 93 products with their revised prices have been imported into this table here. We still have the ability that we can go in and manually amend those if that's what we want to do, so you don't have to take the final figures off the spreadsheet if that's what you don't want. And down the bottom of the page here we have all the other products in the system, so we can continue to add other items in if we need to, but obviously ideally everything's coming directly off the spreadsheet. You then have a number of choices to progress forward from the buttons at the bottom. Void, obviously, if there's some error and you want to close this particular thing out now. Save and close if you want to save your progress so far, but just leave it as a draft bulk price agreement. Confirm future price period, which is what we're going to do now. Or if you want to, you can literally make prices live, which will introduce these updated prices live as we speak. We're going to do confirm future price period. That confirms the details. That applies the price changes, which will then go through. And so you'll notice this now becomes a future bulk price adjustment. Okay. Once we're happy with that, we can close. And so you'll see in there, we now have a new price agreement for doors, which is a future one, so it's not come active yet. We've got a series of draft ones in here, and if we scroll back to the end, you'll see some past ones as well, so ones that have been through their particular sort of date range. Future price period, when it's starting, when it's ending, and the number of products that are being affected. And if you want to go and edit that further, we can go in and make changes and edit it too. We want to, whilst it is a future price period, once it's actually applied as a live or an active price period, then you're committed to those changes and you need to do a further price adjustment to switch out the price that you're actually looking at that point. Anyway, hope you found that useful video, and good luck with price changing.